Good morning, Kenya. Happy new month. Rise and shine to the morning momentum. Your daily dose of a comprehensive rundown of the top stories making the headlines, today being the third day of June 2025. This is a daily compendium of local and international news, human interest stories, current affairs, and expert opinion. Use the hashtag The Morning Momentum at Alphonce and at Younib Media TV. My name is Alphonce. Ouma. Let's take a look at the Daily Nation this morning. How grade 9 choices will shape careers is the top story on the paper. Now, grade 9 learners can pick from 9,569 institutions that will admit in January. The senior school your child attends has influence on their career in future. Details of the subject combinations learners will study to qualify for certain professions are contained in an online platform the Education Ministry has opened to guide learners, and that story is beefed up for you on page 4. On page 2 this morning, tears as activists recount torture in Tanzanian detention. Now, Boniface Mwangi and Agatha Tuhaire revisited their horrific phrases during the torture. The two were in Tanzania alongside other rights activists and lawyers to attend Tundu Lissu's court case hearing. That story is beefed up for you on page 2. On page 3 this morning, health concern for woman detained over finance bill. Police accused of deliberately detaining Njeri over long weekend and successfully appealed at We apologize for that technical hitch. Let's take a look at page 6 of the Daily Nation. 6.6 billion shillings paid in commitment fees for idle loans, report shows. Now, there are fears affected projects will lapse before they are implemented. Legislators accuse the National Treasury of failing to implement resolutions to enhance fiscal discipline. At a glance, amounts paid, documents indicate that 2.1 billion shillings was paid in the 2020-2021 fiscal year, the highest commitment fees paid in a financial year for an undrawn loan in the recent past. During the 2023-2024 financial year, 1.6 billion was paid in commitment fees and 1.5 billion reduction and introducing high-yield rice varieties. You want to catch up with that story on page 9. Let's take a look at page 10 now. Exposed. Scandal of 3,000 ghost UHC workers pocketing 1.5. State House meeting with the Tana River leaders was not conclusive. Residents fear ancestral land will be annexed without clear borders. That story is augmented for you on page 12. Let's move on and take a look at the expert opinion this morning. Impeachment has turned into coronation for Rigathi. What the architects of his political downfall failed to understand is that the people of Mount Kenya have a deep-rooted abhorrence of betrayal. That story is beefed up for you on page 14. And on page 15 this morning, Ruto must follow up on apology. President Ruto previously acknowledged in a roundabout way guilt over crimes against the youth as stated on page 15 of the Daily Nation this morning. So you want to catch up with more of that expert opinion on page 15. Let's move on and take a look at county news now. We start with the Nakuru County. Kihika launches 125 million shillings cheap loans kitty for traders and cooperatives. Now, small-scale traders and members of cooperatives in Nakuru have received a boost after the county government established a 125 million kitty to offer them low-interest loans to support their businesses. Governor Susan Kihika launched the Nakuru Enterprise and Cooperatives Revolving Fund over the weekend at the Nakuru Agricultural Training Center in Soilo. Also this morning in security, MPs want commission of inquiry into priests' killings. Catholic priest Bet was murdered by suspected bandits. Security agents accused of being slow in bringing the culprits to books. That story is beefed up for you on page 17. Let's now move on and take a look at Nyandarua County. Outrage as new market built next to two abandoned ones. Now, Ndaragwa residents unhappy with the government's 65 million market, but MCA defends a project. Now, residents of Ndaragwa in Nyandarua County have criticized the government for building a 65 million market next to two other unused ones, which cost 35 million, in what many said was a glaring case of poor public participation. The small township could soon be home to three idle markets worth more than 100 million shillings, raising questions about priorities and fiscal responsibility. Also this morning, police link rising Nakuru killings to quote-unquote confirm gang. Now, detectives from the DCI have linked the killing of 5 people, including a police officer in Nakuru, to the dreaded confirm gang. A police officer, Constable Josephat Ruto, was shot dead on Sunday night, and 2 of his colleagues were seriously injured while on patrol in Freehold area. This brings to 5 the number of people who have been killed in the last 3 weeks. You want to catch up with that on page 18. Now, on the Powering SMEs this morning, innovating grain storage solutions for a food secure future is an article you want to catch up with on the Nation this morning. So with that, let's move on and take a look at the international news. We start with the German expulsion of asylum seekers illegal. Ruling could challenge tough migration stance by Mars coalition. Italy's Mount Etna erupts as large plumes rise from the volcano. That story is beefed up for you on page 20. Also this morning, insurgents overrun Mali base, kills dozens of soldiers. An Al-Qaeda-linked rebel group active in West Africa's Sahel region has claimed responsibility for an attack on a military base in Mali on Sunday that 2 sources said had killed more than 30 soldiers. More than 400 soldiers have reportedly been killed by insurgents since the start of May in bases and towns in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, an unstable region prone to coups. The jihadist group Jama Nursat ul Islam wa Muslim JNIM said in a statement on Sunday that it had seized the base in Bulkesi in central Mali near the border with Burkina Faso. Briefly, in Istanbul, Ukraine-Russia peace talks end barely in an hour. A second round of peace talks between Russia and Ukraine ended barely an hour after they began in Istanbul on Monday. Turkish officials said a day after massive Ukrainian drone attack on Russia's nuclear-capable strategic bombers. Now, let's take a look at business news. Slovenia President tours Two Rivers Special Economic Zone. Now, Two Rivers International Finance and Innovation Center Special Economic Zone and the President of the Republic of Slovenia and Environment CS Deborah joined dancers during the head of state's visit to the SEZ yesterday. Also this morning, new fund plan to settle 421 billion shilling spending bills. Now, the trust fund will issue securitized debt backed by expected state payments. The key figure stands at 118.3 billion shillings is the amount in pending bills which state had paid by March. Also this morning, Standard cuts jobs by half in 10 years. Standard Chartered Bank Kenya last year spent 580.1 million on staff redundancies, marking the latest in a decade-long trend that has seen its workforce shrink by more than half to 1,001. The lender, which has been leaning further into digital banking, has been downsizing even as its net profit and payroll costs continue to grow. Briefly, in the trade sector, India's India's Adani denies sanctions evasion. Now, India's Adani Group on Monday denied any deliberate engagement in sanctions evasion or trade involving Iranian origin liquefied petroleum gas after the Wall Street Journal reported that U.S. prosecutors were probing whether Adani entities had imported Iranian LPG. Now, with that, we'll take a quick look at sports news on the nation this morning. We start with golf. Legirma extends KAGC series lead. The national team's skipper claims coronation trophy in Nakuru. The Royal Nairobi Golf Club golfer seeks to reclaim series he last clinched in 2022. Now, on page 34 this morning, Wachera, South Africa's camp will develop a winning culture. Now, the squad of 33 players has pitched camp in Cape Town since May 28th and will play a series of friendly matches. Kenya Simbas are preparing for the 2027 World Cup qualifiers from July 20th to 28th. And on page 35, Faith Mboya from Githurai to Harambee Starlets player. The 20-year-old star finished as the Football Kenya Federation Women's Premier League second top scorer. She believes she has what it takes to become the leading scorer in the Women's Top Flight League and also hopes to play in Europe for Chelsea. Now, on the cover page this morning in the FKF Premier League, Zico rules Gors collapse as Derby draw dents title bid. Holders play out a 1-1 stalemate with AFC Leopards, and the result means Kenya Police need just 1 point in their next game to win the maiden crown. Now, in finances, 270 million shillings legal fees cripple Football Kenya Federation. Football Kenya Federation FKF is grappling with massive legal fees that are severely hindering its operations. The situation is compounded by substantial financial sanctions resulting from numerous legal cases before various judicial bodies both locally and internationally. Now, with that story of KFKF, we come to the tail end of the morning momentum this third day of June 2025. Thank you so much for staying with us. That has been all we had for you on the updates this morning. My name is Alphonse Ouma. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, do have a beautiful day ahead of you. Bye-bye for now.